to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impacts with the racket. The call of new balls please seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point, the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour Optic Yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
Good morning, this is Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. I'm Sam Quek and with you for the next hour or so as we build up to talkSPORT breakfast with Jeff and Ali at 6 a.m. Over the way, it is early, but on the way over the next hour, we're going to get all the reaction from Manchester City being dumped out of the World Cup after extra time by Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal. They'll still take home, though, a whopping 34 million getting to that point in the tournament, but not the whole 100 million. So, yeah, plenty of positives. And I guess as well, they get a little bit more time off before the Premier League starts. We'll be crossing to the States very shortly to catch up with our reporter, Ben Jacobs, on that. As well, dominating the back pages today. Wimbledon got underway yesterday and it was a record-breaking day of weather as well as success for the Brits. More on that and a look ahead of today coming up for you. Plus, we'll take our usual look through the front and back pages of the papers. As always, you can get involved on 03717 223344. Get involved in the conversation via phone, voice note or WhatsApp, or if you fancy a text, get in touch on 81089. This is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Okay, this is Early Breakfast on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Welcome, everyone. Now, I don't know if you've stayed up and watched the Manchester City Al Hilal World Cup game. That finished about half an hour ago, and Manchester City were beaten 4-3 after extra time by Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal. So no doubt that'll be making the papers tomorrow. Today, though, you are waking up to back pages pretty much dominated by Wimbledon. Things like Scorchio, game, sweat and match at Wimbledon. I tell you what, the journos have had an absolute belter with these, haven't they? All these puns, hot stuff. What else have we got? We've got Britain's Day in the sun. A really successful day as well for the Brits. And a lot of the papers have decided to lead with the story. Oliver Tarver, who, as we mentioned in the news, he was only 21. He's a student in America, and he actually entered the tournament as a British qualifier. He was ranked number 733 in the world. So as you can imagine, he's absolutely buzzing, and he'll hopefully be looking to target current Wimbledon champion Carlos Alcaraz. So really exciting times for him, and we'll talk more about Wimbledon later on. Also, transfer news on the back of the papers. Cough off. They can cough off. That's what they kind of said. They said also cough up or clear off Manchester United have been told to stump up the cash or forget about signing Brian Mbeumo. The Red Devils are yet to meet the Bees' demand, with Brentford rejecting £62.5 million from the Red Devils last week. Also, more transfer news on the back pages with The Guardian. Arsenal could rival Spurs for Eze after talks with agent. So Arsenal officials met with the Palace players' agents to discuss personal terms, but are yet to open talks with Crystal Palace. Tottenham, of course, have shown long-term interest in the player, and it will look like the two London clubs will go head-to-head to nail down the forward. But yeah, lots of Wimbledon chat, lots of weather chat, and of course Manchester City, that shock result over in America. The match was live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Here's the moment Pep Guardiola's side crashed out of the tournament.
The referee blows the full-time whistle and stop the world. Manchester City want to get off. They are out of the Club World Cup. They have been humiliated by Al Hilal of Saudi Arabia in one of the most remarkable games this competition has seen so far. A triumph for Inzaghi. His team have beaten Manchester City by 4-3, and Pep Guardiola's hopes of winning the Club World Cup once again lie in tatters all over the pitch in Orlando. This a triumph for Al Nassr and Saudi Arabian football, and Manchester City cannot believe what has just happened to them.
So high drama then at the World Stadium in Orlando, Florida, as you heard there. And I guess it wasn't for a lack of trying from Manchester City. They were ahead 1-0 at half-time, but were pegged back to 2-1, then 3-2, and in extra time, making then to 3-3 and then 4-3 in extra time. So lots of drama, lots of goals, and actually it was a really great match. Pep Guardiola was on the field as well at full time, full of emotion, full of passion, having a go at the referee actually for stopping the game while Doku was on the attack as he blew the whistle. He then addressed his players pretty intensely, angry, passionate, you name it, but there was definite desire to get the win there. Erling Haaland as well was substituted, surprisingly, at the beginning of extra time. He was having a pretty decent time. He actually was a big threat for Manchester City, especially on set pieces. The likes of Bernardo Silva, Haaland as well, and Phil Foden were City's scorers on the night. Former Chelsea and Benfica defender Scott Minto was on co-commentary duty and was scathing about City's performance.
I can't believe what's just happened. My goodness me. I was one of those that thought City would go all the way through to the final. I knew this wouldn't be easy. I knew this would be more difficult than a game against Juventus. But I did not see this coming. And at half-time, 1-0 up, pretty much in control. We said there's a game on here. Honestly, I didn't see that happening even at half-time. They've been brilliant, Al Hilal. They came out in the second half. Bang, bang, have some of that. 2-1. City came back, but my goodness me, what a game, what a story.
Guys, what a privilege to share that with you. So, what do you reckon, Scott? The Bitter Blues beaten by a better side, outplayed, outfought and outthought?
Well, listen, Paul, I thought City played well when they had the ball, but again, they go back. I said about... So I whisper it quietly, and that's why we've got to whisper it quietly. The team of 2 years ago, they're still...
I would say they're dangerously close to being the Man City of last season.
Yes, the scars of last season are still there.
Yeah.
You know, the way that... I mean, for me, it was almost just unprofessional, the way that Al Hilal came out at the start of the second half and City just kind of didn't live with it. It was almost like their minds weren't ready for that, and they should have been.
We can actually cross over now to Orlando Live with the brilliant Ben Jacobs. Ben, you're in the mix zone over there. Tell us a little bit about the initial reaction and response from the Manchester City team.
Yeah, good morning. I mean, the first response is from the Al Hilal fans who have left in huge numbers and made a really roaring exit from this stadium. It's a famous victory for them. We mustn't forget that or take anything away from their performance. But Manchester City will feel they weren't clinical enough. They had the lead early. They were unable in a quite dominant first half to find a second goal. And then the second half, Al Hilal just fought back. And you have to say the Saudi side were deserving winners. Pep Guardiola said this is not the end of a long season. It's the first game of next season. And now they've exited, and this game has cost them over £9 million. if they'd have got to the next round. 15 million at stake as well. Suddenly you're halfway to buying a Ryan Cherky in terms of getting your money back. So Manchester City will be disappointed in terms of their football performance, and it's a financial loss as well. And for Al Hilal, they might end up playing Chelsea in the semi-finals in New Jersey.
Yeah, they'll be licking their lips. But again, you said great performance from Al Hilal, especially early on. Do you think City underestimated them when it came to the start of the game?
I don't think I underestimated them because they were the better side in the first half, but it was a complacent start to the second, and as soon as Al Hilal scored one, you always felt they were in the game. And I think we've seen two things from Manchester City at this tournament. The first is the impact of the new signings and the quality they bring. The second is they're still vulnerable off the ball, and Al Hilal made them pay.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got quality players, albeit ageing, the likes of Koulibaly, Neves, Cancelo, and they're going to be familiar as well with being part of the Manchester City team, some of those.
Yeah, exactly, and I think the experience of Hilal certainly told. Ruben Neves was outstanding. Kalidou Koulibaly got a goal, and it was a very well taken header as well. And Malcolm was excellent too, and was very unlucky actually to not only get a goal, which he did, but also win a penalty because he was fractionally offside in the build-up. But that was a close call. So Hilal had their moments even earlier in the game, not just in extra time when they ended up finding the winner. Pep Guardiola will be disappointed, but here in the mix zone now, the Al Hilal players are coming out, and it'll be interesting to hear from them. A lot of them speak English, a lot of them have played in the Premier League, and I'm sure that they will refer to this as one of their most famous victories ever.
Yeah, I mean, while we're chatting, if you do manage to get one of those, let us know. You can take over. But you talk about Pep being disappointed, but surely, you know, when the emotion dies down and the bigger picture emerges, surely the positives will come out. You know, the final's in 2 weeks' time. They've saved themselves 2 weeks as such. They can now rest, put their feet up. So I guess, you know, swings and roundabouts for Manchester City.
Yeah, they'll have a bit more rest. They'll prepare for the new season. I'm sure that is the silver lining. It won't feel like that at this stage, though. They'll be bitterly disappointed, both in terms of not being able to make a statement and also not getting the money needed. But at the moment, all the Al Hilal players are out. It's their day. It's their celebration. And hopefully I'll bring you some reaction very soon.
Yes, please do. Now I'm getting told in my ear, actually, you have to get off to go and grab some players. So, Ben, great to speak, and hopefully speak to you very soon.
Thanks a lot.
Ben Jacobs there. Okay, so there's the initial reaction from the Manchester City loss to Al Hilal over in America in the Club World Cup. Elsewhere, Inter were stunned as well by Brazilian side Fluminense last night, who beat the Champions League finalists 2-0 over in Charlotte. Fluminense's goal came in the 3rd and 93rd minute, so back either side of that game. So looking ahead then to the full quarter-final lineup, it's shaping up like this. Fluminense versus Al Hilal. That'll be at 8 p.m. on Friday. Palmeiras versus Chelsea. That's at 2 a.m. on Saturday. PSG versus Bayern. That'll be later on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Plus the winners of Real Madrid versus Juventus tonight, and Dortmund versus Monterrey will meet Saturday at 9 p.m. Remember, talkSPORT 2 brings you live and exclusive commentary of Real Madrid versus Juventus in the last 16 tonight. You're listening to Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT with Sam Quek. Up next, we'll take a look at the back pages. Good morning, I'm Sam Quek and you're listening to Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux Insurance for the Individual. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy's to come at 6 a.m. with talkSPORT Breakfast. And don't forget you can listen to all of our stations on the talkSPORT app. Should you prefer music, Virgin is there, or news, you can find Talk and Times Radio. Just swipe between our stations. Here's some of the headlines that you're waking up to this Tuesday morning. We've just been talking about it. Manchester City out of the FIFA Club World Cup, beaten 4-3 after extra time by Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal. More reaction to come on talkSPORT Breakfast, and Ben Jacobs hopefully getting us some interviews. We chatted to him just before the break. And he said the Al Hilal players were absolutely delighted and almost creating history for their club. Elsewhere, Johnny Evans has retired as a player and will take up a role with Manchester United as their head of loans and pathways. Evans made 241 appearances for Manchester United over 2 spells, winning 3 Premier League titles, the Champions League, Club World Cup, FA Cup and 2 League Cups, as well as a further FA Cup with Leicester. And with João Pedro set to swap Brighton for Chelsea in a £5 million deal, Premier League 100 Club member and Drive co-host Darren Bent has had this warning for the Brazilian.
He was a lot better last season. When I say last season, not the season just gone, the one before, when he hit 20 goals. He was better then. 40 games played, 20 goals. And he looked really like, even though the 20 he scored weren't all in the league, I think he only got 9 Premier League goals, right? But he just looked very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if he takes Chelsea to the next level.
Where does he play?
I think
What is he, a 10?
I think he's a 10 off the left, more off the left. I mean, he can play striker.
Yeah.
But he's a very intelligent footballer, and I do like him. And I always felt when it was the 3 at Watford, there was him, there was Emmanuel Dennis, and there was Ismail Assar. I always thought he maybe was the one in the middle. I always thought Ismail Assar was the best, then him, and then Emmanuel Dennis.
Can I also just clarify that it wasn't the bargain of the season with him being £5 million? I've just been told I said 5 million instead of 50. It's one of those things, you know.
They were paid in instalments though. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the first one was just paid, wasn't it? That's the voice of Extra Time, talkSPORT Extra Times. Kane Reeves, thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was doing one of those things where I thought I was saying one thing and something else came out my mouth.
It doesn't matter what you say at this time in the morning.
£50 million. We'll see if that's worth it or not. But you're going to take us through the back pages. What we got then as a bit of a review?
Well, no reaction, of course, to Manchester City being knocked out of the Club World Cup with all the papers getting their pages printed nice and early. So Wimbledon dominates all of the back pages. Magnificent seven British players through to the second round, which was a really stunning day. Katie Bolter, Sonia Cartel, Arthur Ferry. You also had Emma Raducanu going through, Cam Norrie, Billy Harris, and debutant Oliver Tarvett as well. So a stunning start to Wimbledon for the British point of view.
The Tarvett as well, interesting about he won £99,000 for getting to round 2, but you can only take home 10 grand of that.
It's very unfair, isn't it? The prize money situation at Wimbledon. It does need to kind of be investigated as well, but I don't think the prize money is going to be too much on his mind at the moment.
No, he was saying something like his expenses are in excess of like £50,000. So hopefully he can figure out that actually he can take £10,000 worth of actual winnings to enjoy and maybe invest and obviously claim back the rest on expenses. But it's something to do with him being a student in America, which is, it's tough, isn't it? 21, and you're thinking, oh, I've got a massive cash prize. But then Alcaraz in the next round.
Indeed, as well. And we will have Lisa O'Sullivan throughout the tournament here on talkSPORT. And Judy Murray, by the way, will be over with our colleagues on Virgin Radio with Chris Evans later this morning.
I love Judy Murray.
She's great.
She's a legend, isn't she?
Is.
She's always got that balance of actually being like a really good laugh, but then also when she needs to be serious, she is on it. You're not messing about with Judy Murray, are you?
No, you can tell. That's why you can tell tell with how well brought up Andy and Jamie were, certainly. Also on the back pages, Brian and Buemo to Manchester United. Brentford are really holding out for some big money. It seems as though they want around about £70 million for him because they've rejected another bid of £62.5 million from United. And Brentford saying, look, we don't need to sell. So I wonder if Manchester United will go back in. They won't have £40 million from Aston Villa to spend on Marcus Rashford because his future is also on the back pages today, with Villa deciding not to make his deal permanent. And it means Rashford, left in limbo again. It looks like he might have to knock on Johnny Evans' door and find a pathway out of Old Trafford.
Fascinating one, that, for me. I mean, Rashford, he's been linked with Barcelona, but clearly Ruben Amorim just is not a fan.
I think Rashford's linked himself with Barcelona more, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think last time I was on talkSPORT, I did say, Rashford, Barcelona, really?
Barcelona haven't really made much sound about wanting Marcus Rashford. He says he's desperate to play with Lamine Yamal. I'm sure he is.
All are.
But look, I'm not going to worry too much about Marcus Rashford being stuck at Old Trafford on £350,000 a week. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, fascinating one. I think Ruben Amorim will. I wonder if he just starts fresh. We'll see. That'll be a good one. But yeah, thank you very much for running us through the back pages. Today as well, I think we've got lots to look forward to in Wimbledon. Record as well with weather. Kane is meant to. So yesterday was the hottest opening day of Wimbledon ever, but today the actual record is expected to be broken overall for Wimbledon.
Temperatures hit a record 31.4 Celsius, which I'm no meteorologist, but I believe that means it's hot. And it will be as well.
Well, us Brits as well love a bit of weather chat. Also,
the good news as well with it being hot is it because Cliff Richard was at Wimbledon yesterday, and we don't want any rain because it means he may sing. So as long as
you're not a Cliff Richard fan.
I don't think anyone born after 1992 is, are they really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
You just absolutely busted me. I was born before that date, so
so you're a Cliff fan.
I am. yeah, officially. What I was going to say, Emma Raducanu as well, brilliant. Obviously, since she won the US Open when she was just 18, she's 22 now. She's had a bit of a turbulent journey, but she was saying how much she loves playing at Wimbledon. Obviously, the crowd, having the home support. Sue
Barker was interesting yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast, talking about her rise from the US Open as well, and how that should be made into a film. And it wasn't a stunning achievement. The problem is she's just put pressure on herself with that incredible performance to try and live up to those again. There have been a few critics about maybe the amount of coaches that she's had, but she seems to have now settled on one. And 9 coaches in her career, that's a lot considering she's only 23 years old. So hopefully now she's feeling a little bit more settled and can actually put on some decent performances. Yeah,
well, yesterday she said that she was having a good time, and apparently the crowd were, because she was almost hit by a champagne cork.
Oh, really?
So I didn't know you were allowed champagne in the stands.
I can't even take my little plastic screw-top bottle up into the stands at St Mary's, but you're allowed to have corks in champagne bottles at Wimbledon.
It's Wimbledon, darling.
It's a different class, isn't it, eh?
Have you ever been to Wimbledon?
Tennis, it's not the working man's sport anymore, is it?
No, have you ever been?
No, of course I've not been. Do you reckon they let me into Wimbledon? That's
Would you not
outrageous.
Want to
go? No, I can just buy strawberries at Lidl for like 10 times less the price.
Yeah, that's true.
Nah, that's fine. I'm happy with listening to updates on talkSPORT with Nick Kyrgios.
Eze news. Do we have any Eze news as well?
Well, Tottenham and Arsenal still fighting over Eze. I'm not going to believe anything I read about Arsenal until they actually sign someone. Christian Norgard, Brentford have admitted that deal is moving forward, but there doesn't seem to be anything from Arsenal that says they're concrete in for Eze.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I think Arteta identified him as someone who could, I quote, add creativity and depth to this squad. It's a funny one with Arsenal because they've almost been like the Nurley team. And I don't know whether Mikel Arteta is going to be under more pressure this season to actually get some silverware. So Eze's agent apparently have already spoken to Arsenal officials. However, they've yet to open talks with Palace. It's all very kind of like...
I think it's a £67.5 million release clause that he has in his contract at Palace. Whether Tottenham will stump up that sort of money, I don't think so. So it could open the door for Arsenal. But really, they just need to get someone on the sheet to say we've signed someone. Get the fans a little bit excited. And especially with Man City getting most of their business done early, Chelsea as well, Arsenal haven't done anything. They've signed an unknown defender from Valencia who really struggled in La Liga last season. Great.
Yeah, they do need to almost make a bit of a statement signing. Well, they've still got time, of course, until the beginning of the season. I've got to ask as well, you're a Southampton fan.
Yeah.
Where are you? How's your head, obviously, going down?
If
New
I'm
manager.
honest, well, we'll see what he can bring. I don't, if I'm honest, man, I've just lost connection with the club. I want to see, once we've work out who's gone, then we can start to build a relationship again.
Yeah, Will
I've lost
Steele,
a lot
though,
of trust in them.
fascinating guy.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because he's done very well in France, and I think we are the perfect club for him to make that next step. We'll give him. We're not going to sack him if we're loitering outside of the playoffs. We are going to give him a bit of time. I just wonder how much time.
This is true.
At least 2 seasons.
2, you're giving him 2
Yeah,
already.
most Saints fans have resigned themselves to realising we're not going to get back to back. We're not going to go straight back up. So.
Yeah, it is time. Time is.
As long as we beat Pompey in September and January, that's all that matters to me. We can lose every other game as long as we win those 2.
Hopefully that'll be enough points to keep you up. I think you'll be fine. Thank you so much, Kane, and you're going to be back in around 10-15 minutes, aren't you?
With a bit of celeb spotting from Wimbledon. Ooh, how exciting.
You'll love it. Thanks very much, Kane. Also, as well, we have had a text in from Ben, the Man United fan. He says, oh dear, the City Thunder truck has hit a bollard and gone belly up. Pep's lost his pip. And that's Hasta la Vista from Al Hilal. Ben. I tell you what, Ben, I bet you're loving that, aren't you? Anyway, thank you very much for your text. Please feel free to get in touch. Anyone else who wants to throw some shade or actually look on the positives? Manchester City now have an extra 2 weeks in the calendar to rest up and prepare for the Premier League opener. Get in touch on 03717 223344. You're listening to Early Breakfast with Sam Quek on talkSPORT, and up next we'll have more for you on a record-breaking opening day for the British players in this year's Wimbledon.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. Something like this.
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision. It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top level of football refereeing? You can apply to become a referee through your local county FA from as soon as your 14th birthday. After spending several hours either in the classroom or on the pitch, they'll grant you Level 7 status, which allows you to officiate amateur games. Then you'll work your way through the ranks of amateur football, not reaching the National League until Level 2. It's a long process, bearing in mind every level from 7 upwards takes an average of a year. Also, there's no specific number of games you have to ref or hours you have to log before moving on up. You simply just have to be good enough. Once you're Level 2 and have enough experience at a National League level, you can apply to the EFL to become a Level 1 referee. Then it's on you to get enough experience to climb through the ranks and eventually become a Premier League referee. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough to officiate games in the top flight. So if you want to make it to the top, there's less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of doing it, and it'll take you a decade to get there.
I'm Sam Quek and this is Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux. The cover you need at a price you'll love with What Van's Insurer of the Year 2021. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Don't forget you can watch the show and all talkSPORT shows on YouTube and your smart TV. I'll be taking you through until 6 when Jeff and Ali arrive for talkSPORT Breakfast. Some of the headlines that you're waking up to this morning. England have named an unchanged team for the second test against India at Edgbaston, meaning a further wait for the return of Jofra Archer. The pace bowler is back in the squad after a 4-year absence, but missed yesterday's training session because of a family emergency. The whole series is live on talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. In rugby, Maro Itoje returns as captain for the British and Irish Lions team who face the Queensland Reds at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane tomorrow, live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Head coach Andy Farrell has made 14 changes to his starting lineup. Finn Russell is the only player to retain his place. And the big one, fresh off the press in the last hour or so, Manchester City are out of the FIFA Club World Cup. They've been stunned 4-3 after extra time by Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal, who'll now play Fluminense in the quarter-finals, who themselves shocked Inter last night. Here's
Al Hilal coming forward again now. The cross in, looking for Milinkovic-Savic with a header. It's blocked, but it's turned in. And Al Hilal lead 4-3. Can you believe this? It was a brilliant save initially by Edison to keep out Milinkovic-Savic.
Leonardo so quickly that he kind of tries to adjust his body and he stumbles over and he's falling. He's 2 yards away. Can he use his body and move it out the way so he can get his foot there? Just a yard away as the ball's trickling, fortunately for him, towards the goal, and he taps it in. Is that the winner?
Marcus Leonardo makes it 4-3 to Al Hilal.
That was the moment Manchester City crashed out of the Club World Cup. A shock over in Orlando. Our reporter Ben Jacobs joined us from the Camping World Stadium and praised Al Hilal for their coming-of-age performance.
I think the experience of Hilal certainly told. Ruben Neves was outstanding. Kalabu Koulibaly got a goal, and it was a very well taken header as well. And Malcolm was excellent too, and was very unlucky actually to not only get a goal, which he did, but also win a penalty because he was fractionally offside in the build-up. But that was a close call. So Hilal had their moments even earlier in the game, not just in extra time when they ended up finding the winner. Pep Guardiola will be disappointed. But here in the mix zone now, the Al Hilal players are coming out out, and it'll be interesting to hear from them. A lot of them speak English, a lot of them have played in the Premier League, and I'm sure that they will refer to this as one of their most famous victories ever.
Yeah, stunning performance and result there for Al Hilal. Manchester City clearly disappointed, but of course get extra time to prepare and rest for the start of the Premier League season in a few weeks' time. For more on that and the Club World Cup and the rest of today's biggest stories, visit talksport.com. Also, if you want to get in touch, the number is 03717 223344 if you want to text 81089. Okay, now, Wimbledon got underway yesterday in scorching heat and unbroken sunshine, dominating the back pages this morning. 32 degrees in SW19. Absolutely beautiful. And actually, the brilliant news as well, the Brits, can we say, got off to a sensational start. First off, it was Sunny Cartel. She was the first player through with victory over 20th seed Ostapenko to kick things off, followed by Katie Boulter, who beat world number 9 Paula Badosa by 2-1. A bit of a shock result for both of those, but well done to the Brits. Also, current British number 1 Emma Raducanu got past fellow Brit Mimi Zhu. So lots of success there for the women. We'll talk about the men in a moment, but first, let's hear from a delighted Katie Boulter speaking post-victory.
This court is the epitome of what every single British child dreams about playing on and actually winning on. So for me, it's like a dream come true every time I get to step out here. I saw the scheduling and I was so excited. I felt like a little girl again, and I'm just super happy to be through, and I'm glad I got the win today.
But there's nothing better playing on a court like that in front of a home crowd. So brilliant, and well done to Boulter and the rest of the female Brits. To the men now, Cameron Norrie, Arthur Ferry and Oliver Tarver and Billy Harris all won in the men's draw. Oliver Tarver as well. He leads the stories on the back pages this morning as he will take on back-to-back champion and current Wimbledon champion Carlos Alcaraz in the second round on Wednesday. I guess that's what dreams are made of as well for Tarver, through to the second round and picking up £99,000. So you would have thought. However, the 21-year-old, who is a student over in America, is entitled to significantly less than that figure as he studies over there in San Diego. And apparently, due to the National Collegiate Athletic Association system and under NCAA rules, players are restricted in how much they can claim from professional tournaments. With Tarvit saying actually before the tournament that players are allowed $10,000, which is the equivalent of £7,290 in profit every year. So a lot of that prize money will no doubt go to expenses incurred during the events, which I think he was saying post-match was in excess of £50,000. So yeah, a huge result for him. Hopefully he can pay off those expenses and gets to play against world number 2 Alcaraz. So brilliant result for him. Also, 2022 finalist Nick Kyrgiakos is part of a talkSPORT's team for Wimbledon over the next fortnight. The Australian joined Hawksby and Jacobs yesterday and said he expects 1 and 2 seeds Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner to carry out the spot for years to come, as well as glowing words for number 1 Brit Jack Draper.
I think Sinner and Alcaraz are, head and shoulders above the rest of the field. In my opinion, you look at that French Open final, and there were shades of Federer and Nadal. Some of the finals that the greatest of all time have played. Those two are so young, and I think they're going to carry the sport for a long time. But look, can you ever count out Djokovic? I'm not too sure. Every time I feel like he's finished kind of thing, he always surprises us. So I think Sinner and Alcaraz are probably the favourites, but Draper and Djokovic would be just behind. I think Draper's definitely a contender for Wimbledon, and in pretty much any tournament he plays. He's a great athlete, big left-hander, super professional. I think that British tennis right now is an incredible form. You got a lot of good players, a lot of depth, and same can be said about the Aussie tennis. I think Aussie and British tennis right now, it's an exciting time, and you've got a genuine contender in Draper, and I'm excited for him because since Andy Murray, you've generally got a threat that can win Grand Slams now, and he's got a great team around him as well. So I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, great talent, Jack Draper, and it'll be nice to cheer someone on in Wimbledon. And I don't know what we would call, what do they call it? Murray Mount, Henman Hill, Draper de. I can't think of any off the top of my head. That's what I was trying to do, just thinking there. June? Draper June? I mean, if you've got any ideas, please text them in, 810.
That begins with J.
June, Dune.
Oh.
Dune,
What's a dune?
like a sand dune.
What's that?
Is that right?
I don't know. What's a dune?
Dune? Dune is, isn't it? It's D.
Oh.
I'll have to Google
What
it.
is a dune, though? What is it?
Yeah, like the film.
Yeah, but what
or
is
like a
it?
sand dune. It's like a hill.
Oh, I see.
Like a very big slope, incline, decline, incline. But yeah, if you've got any ideas, get in touch. 03717223344. Should Jack Draper start getting to the serious end of the tournament and people start standing and sitting on the former Mary Mount? Yeah. That's the best we can come up with. How terrible. So Kane, you're back with us. You're going to take us through some of the different stories of the front pages, are you?
Shall we stay with Wimbledon and do a bit of celeb spotting?
Oh, yes.
We spotted Sir Gareth Southgate. Guess who he was watching it with next to him in the posh box? David Beckham, who's yet to be knighted. We also had David Beckham's mum there as well. He takes her every year to Wimbledon. He's just too nice a man, isn't he?
Perfect, isn't he?
What a lovely son.
Fine one.
He was also with Stuart Broad, the ex-England cricketer. Princess Beatrice was there with her mother, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York.
Very nice.
Jessica Alba was there with Honor Warren. Who's that?
Honor Warren.
Yeah, I don't know who she was, but she was wearing a lovely floral blue dress.
See, that sounds like she was on Air Warren. Like a rabbit warren.
See that? Oh, like
there you
go. Jason Isaacs as well from Harry Potter and lots of other films, and Eddie Redmayne as well.
Star-studded for day one.
Quite good. Now, the price, though, of refreshments at Wimbledon
go on.
has caused a bit of a stir.
I've heard this. A pint is about, nearly £9?
Yeah, £8.85 for a Stella Artois. It was £7.55.
Is it premium, though?
Oh, I haven't got that detail.
Oh.
No. £7.55 in 2023, £8.50 last year. Ooh. And up again this year to £8.85, and your first pint of the day will have an extra £1 charge on top of it.
Why? For the cup?
For the cup.
I wonder if it's just a plain
They're
plastic
making money
cup.
out of recycling now.
I'm that person though who pays like the £5 deposit like at NFL games, but it's like a £2.
Oh, see, that's worth it.
A 2-pint cup with all the game details.
Do you have to give it back though, or
you
not?
can give it back, or you can take it home. So I'm that sucker who they clearly make a profit from. The amount of like novelty glasses I have got at home that I shove in my handbag.
Now a Pimm's,
I'm a nightmare.
£12.25. That's up, but not too much from £11.95 last year.
For a jug?
Well, for a jug, yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if this. I think this is a glass.
Oh my goodness.
I think this is a glass. Yeah, it is a glass because a double Pimm's is £15.50. And most that's just going to be fruit, isn't it? And ice, you can imagine. But you strike me as someone with a bit more of a classier taste.
No, I'm not. I'm a pint. I've got into pints since COVID.
Good.
We got one of those pint machine cooler things, and I started drinking shandies.
So
but I
you'd
do like
be at the
a pint.
Stella tent then at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
But if you want a Lanzon Lee Black Creation Brut Champagne, I'm sure Alan Brazil drinks that. It's £96, up from £92. The rosé version. I didn't know you could get rosé champagne.
That's very nice.
Yeah. I suppose it's just. Yeah, it's just
I suppose rosé in this weather. Rosé champagne.
£100 a bottle, or $29.85 a glass. That's mental, isn't it?
Just a bit of pocket change for some people, isn't it?
And the food as well. You can get a chicken or celeriac shawarma wrap.
Ooh.
What's a celeriac?
Celeriac. It's a veg, isn't it?
Is it?
Celeriac?
Is it like celery?
It's one.
I think
is it the one that tastes quite aniseedy?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't get that on the menu at Spoons where I go. Fries or a wrap as well for £13. Oh no, that's with the chicken wrap. That's all right. So to be honest, it's not too expensive. It's kind of like festival price food, isn't it?
But a chicken shawarma wrap with fries is cheaper than a double Pimm's.
Yeah. To be fair, that's pretty good going actually. £13. Shove a drink in there, meal deal for an extra £1. I'd be happy to pay that.
There you go.
But there we are. That's got you covered at Wimbledon. Although I'm not a big fan of them not having those having the human line judges being replaced by AI.
It felt a bit empty, the court, didn't it?
A few complaints about that because the players couldn't hear and the fans couldn't hear as well some of the decisions being called on it, but we'll keep an eye on that. Now, are you when it was Wagger for Christie, were you on Colleen's side or were you on the Vardies?
Team Colleen all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well done. Because we're going to get more of the Roonies. Disney Plus has confirmed a doco series about Wayne and Colleen's home life. It's going to be a 10-part fly on the wall documentary. It was revealed last year, but we've now had it confirmed that it will be a 10-part series, which is I don't know what are they going to show there. 10 episodes.
10, there's a lot, though. People just want an insight, don't they?
I suppose so. So it'll be interesting to see that. That'll be on later on towards the end of the summer, which is great. Taylor Swift has been out and about on a date night as well. She was partly behind a £10 million boost to the UK economy last year, apparently, with all of her gigs happening, which is...
So she'd be fine at Wimbledon, paying, £15 for a double Pimm's and £9 for a pint.
For the entire centre court,
£100 for a bottle of champagne.
But, yeah.
She could pay for everyone else's. But anyway, thank you very much, Kane, for getting us through those front page stories.
Have a great rest of the day.
Plenty more Wimbledon, of course, coming up over the next 2 weeks here on talkSPORT.
Come on, Tim.
And we were just talking about Jack Draper if he goes on further into the tournament and he gets successful. How do we rename Murray Mount? Darren, the Spurs fan, has been in touch with the suggestion, Kane. Draper's Den.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
That's cool. So, yeah, any more suggestions, please get in touch. Keep them coming.
Build like a wooden shed on the hill.
Yeah, imagine. With umbrellas, probably, when the rain comes. So keep those coming on 810 89. Can you go back? Can you go and come back with a list?
Draper's Dugout, that's all right.
That's cool, yeah, I like that one. Anyway, you're listening. Cheers, Kane. You're listening to Early Breakfast on talkSPORT with Sam Quek. Up next, you'll hear for the first time from a new Brentford head coach, Keith Andrews.
He plays that villain role very well now. It's crying out for a little bit more attention. It comes with a lot of crazy people. I took it personally and it kind of made me rebel a bit more. To be honest, I don't really care anymore. I'm never going to change.
Good morning, I'm Sam Quek and this is Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist on the way for talkSPORT Breakfast at 6 a.m. Just before the break, we did a bit of a shout out for what we would call the former Henman Hill, Murray Mount, for British hopeful and men's number one British tennis player, Jack Draper. So we came up with Draper June. We've had quite a few of you get in touch with some good ideas. We've had Carlos from Whitby says Draper's Biffins Bridge. Don't get that one, sorry. Jack Stack from Matt in Essex. Draper's Drop from Chris. That sounds a bit like a long drop, though. Another one as well, Draper's Drop from Aid, the Derby fan. Draper's Down, Draper's Scape. So, yeah, thank you very much for all your ideas. If you want to add to them, 81089. OK, now, the reunion of the century is just around the corner, and we're giving you a chance to win a pair of Oasis tickets in Manchester on July 19th. That's right, Oasis Live 25 is sold out, but here at talkSPORT, we can get you in. But that's not all. Alongside the tickets, we'll put you up for a night in a hotel, put $5,000 in your back pocket, completely tax-free, if you listen up right now for everything you need to know and how to enter.
All right, Arcade, you have to be over 18 to enter in the UK, excluding Northern Ireland, for the chance to win a pair of tickets to the most electrifying rock and roll reunion of the century, a hotel stay and $5,000 spending money. Text the word Oasis to 83338 by Monday the 7th of July at 11 p.m. and you'll be entered into the draw to go supersonic this summer. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or post your name and number to Oasis Prize Draw, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 10th of July.
This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck, yeah? Sorted.
We've got to say as well, talkSPORT's social media channels and app were dominated on Friday by Jamie O'Hara's attempt to earn a ticket to the Wembley gig from Noel Gallagher, who had a quiz for him on talkSPORT Breakfast. Now, surprisingly, Jamie didn't get on too well, and yesterday on the Sports Bar had seemingly no update on his bid to see Oasis.
You completely set me up to just make me just look like an idiot.
Well, no, because the questions were impossible to answer. Noel messaged me with all the questions he was going to ask you the night before, and he sent me the answers. So I knew all the answers, only because Noel gave me them.
Do you know
so
what,
set up to fail, mate.
I know, but I weren't far off, right?
Yeah, I know, but you know what would have happened.
Actually weren't far
Jay,
off.
you know what would have happened, mate?
You still would have got them wrong, even if I was right.
Even if you're right, you got them wrong, mate.
Yeah.
So you could, you could have been that close or that close. Either way, you're always going to get 5 out of 5 wrong.
It's out of all of that,
terrible stuff.
Yeah, terrible stuff, mate. And you know what made me laugh is Oasis are about to embark on the biggest concert in the world over the next 25 shows they're doing.
Yeah.
And you and Noel, a week before Oasis go live, are sitting there coming up with questions to mug me off on talkSPORT.
That's funny though.
How ridiculous is that?
I know.
Fuma, I think he's still got a chance. If he's getting sent actual questions by the Oasis band, then, one step at a time. OK, now, Keith Andrews spoke to the media for the first time since stepping up from a set piece coach to replace Thomas Frank at Brentford. He left for Spurs after 8 years in West London. Andrews was asked whether he'll bring a similar style to the one that Frank did.
I'll be me. I'll be authentic. I'll be who I am on a daily basis. That won't change in terms of how I deal with people on a daily basis, regardless of the role that I'm in. Obviously, the responsibilities are very different to the role I've just had. Very pressurised. Need brilliant people around me, which I have got, and we will add to that. But yeah, I won't try and emulate anybody. I'm so respectful of Thomas, like I really am. I was respectful before I came to the building, so obviously I'm going to be even more respectful, having worked with him for 12 months. I think I go back to one of the questions. I have to be me, and as part of me being me and very authentic is doing my due diligence, really understanding all the individuals in the building. I'm a big fan of coaches playing to the strengths of the personnel that they have in front of them, rather than fixating on what they ideally want to play like. I love the way our team has played for numerous years. I love the individuals. I love the capabilities and the potential that we have got in the building. So it's just about progressing that, really.
And one of those strengths for Andrews will be starman Brian Mwembo. He'll be hoping that he can keep hold of him. We're going to get all the latest transfer news with our reporter Ollie Klink now. Good morning, Ollie.
Good morning, Sam. Plenty of transfer stories for you. Firstly, we understand that the Brazilian striker Igor Jesus has completed his move to Nottingham Forest. He's absolutely shone at the Club World Cup for Botafogo. He's going to sign, we think, for around £10 million. Elsewhere, we understand Spurs are interested in West Ham's Mohamed Kudus. He's one of their leading targets. They're yet to place a bid, though, Tottenham, but they are in talks for the 24-year-old, and that's because their North London rivals Arsenal have held talks with Palace's Eberechi Eze. They're in touch with his camp. He was also a target for Spurs, but Arsenal do have Eze on their list of left-wing targets this summer. He's got a release clause of around £68 million. There's plenty more on all of these stories and more at talksport.com.
Ollie Klink there with a roundup of the biggest transfer headlines. Tune in to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT weekday evenings from 7 p.m. for all the latest rumours and done deals. That's it from us here on Early Breakfast. Here's what's coming up on talkSPORT Breakfast today with Jeff and Ali. The boys will be crossing to Orlando in around half an hour for more reaction to Man City's loss against Al Hilal overnight. We'll have another edition of Transfer Tinder for you. And most importantly, I've got a one-game winning streak to keep going against Ali in the daily quiz. Simply the best. And of course, lots more to come. You've been listening to Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Don't go anywhere, because coming up, the next star duo of Jeff and Ali with you for talkSPORT.